I don't know.
All right. So,
Loan Officer Realtor communication.
Yes. So what would you say is the benefit of a loan officer and a realtor having, I guess, a relationship, friendship, prior to doing a transaction together?
You know, it really just puts them on the same page. Because if, let's say, for example, you go with your personal bank, which is always a good recommendation. It's always good to check with your personal bank. People that you know, they may be able to give you some incentive that you wouldn't be able to get with a broker.
Yep.
But, you know, that information flow, like I have written here, you know, with your permission, of course, because nothing's going to be disclosed between us behind your back that you don't know about.
Yeah. Financial information is
Very,
not allowed to
very
be
regulated.
given out to the realtor. Credit scores, all these other things. I cannot share those things with a realtor. It is illegal for me to do that. That's why I have my license. You know, it's a very, very regulated thing, and it's important that, you know, both he and I have a clear distinction of these things.
Right. We have two separate jobs. We're not the same person.
Yes.
You know, but, you know, staying on schedule, whether that's proactively solving problems, things that come up and they're a hiccup. And, you know, sometimes we can resolve those things behind the scenes. You don't even need to be involved.
Yeah.
But you'll know about it because it was an issue and it came up and you'll know about it. But sometimes that can be pre-resolved. And it doesn't take much effort on your part where you have to you have to be the middleman between two people.
Yeah. I think it's, you know, I've had some great experiences with realtors who have been really just great communicators. I've also had some really tough, you know, communicating realtors who just have not communicated well, and I've had to basically beg the borrower to do the communicating. And it's so important to have the two-way dialogue. Otherwise, it's going to be like pulling teeth.
Pulling teeth, yeah.
So like I said, it's the proactive problem solving, the unified goal of homeownership. We're trying to get you into the home. Me as the loan officer, he is the realtor. And then we also offer the clear buyer guidance and communication. So we're trying to help you, and we're trying to do what's in your best interest. So if it means, okay, hey, we should pull out of this deal. You should go to a different property because of X, Y, and Z. You know, then that's going to be communicated by Walker. That's going to be communicated by me as a loan officer. It's dependent. We're going to do what makes sense and is right by you. And if we don't, you know, let us know.
Right. And I'm like contractually obligated. I have to take your best interest in heart.
As am I.
As is you.
Yeah.
We cannot take our own personal interest, whether it be because of commission or because, we have somebody else who wants to buy this property, you know. But, you know, that clear communication, that unified goal, I think is really the big thing. Is if they have some sort of relationship or connection or prior communication, it's a lot easier to pick the ball up and go, all right, we've worked with each other before. Here's what we need to get done. We've already rehearsed this act. We know each other's processes. We know how the other person communicates. It's easier to pick up the ball when there's already some repertoire built up.
Yeah, no, exactly. It just makes it more like I'm working with someone that knows how I work, I know how they work, and we know what the next step is in the process. So, you know, like you said, you know, the information flow and making sure we're caring for people, then staying on schedule. You know, it is our responsibility to make sure we close on time. It is our responsibility to make sure that all of these things are met to the right standard. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes it's things out of our hands directly. And that's not fun, but, you know, we try to communicate that as soon as we find out about it.
Right.
And then, you know, like you said, we are doing what's in your best interest. We are your advocate in this transaction. He is the advocate in negotiating the contract.
Right.
I am your advocate in getting you the best financing deal you can.
Right. You know, property and loan, two different worlds, but when two people can come together and sort of mesh the best of both worlds, you can get into a really great house for not as much as you thought originally.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, cool. I think that was the last thing we got. And I think the big thing is on this one, you know, I think we're going to have some banners up above us or below us. If you guys have questions, we have more to come about these topics. We're going to go more in the weeds, but also going to see if there's any questions in the comments.